but for lack of a better way of protecting the people, that is except by asking you to go inside your houses, with my assurance that when the antibody that's being, I said, it has passed the medical tests o yung clinical test nila, it's ready to be sold by May. Kung makita ko nandyan at magkaroon tayo ng supply, then I am ready to live. Kasi wala talagang vaccine. It might come, it might not. But itong antibody, which has been manufactured outside of the human body, parang killer ito na just like the antibiotic. Talagang bibirahin niya yung bacteria. Ito naman yung virus, yung katawan lang natin. But, for whatever it is really worth, we have to thank these guys for coming up, and whether the efficacy is really sort of hangs in the balance. But with the assurance that they have tested it medically, I am sure that we're able to come up with something, buy it, and if I think that it is really there for good and can help people, then I am ready, I said, to lift the lockdown. So I will start with Joey. Kasi ngayon, ang pinaka-burning issue, yung middle class ba, yung mga MSME, after that, Sunny will Joey, mauna ka, then Sunny will give his piece or...
Mr. President,
mukhang kayo lang man ang dalawa ang na dito. I'd like to ask the presidential spokesman to listen so that you can formulate a very coherent thing of presentation.
so Mr. President, I think a question was asked a couple of weeks ago, which is more important, life or money? There is no doubt that life is the most important. But however, without money, how will people eat? How will people buy medicine? And how will our MSMEs recover? So how do we bring back the economy in a sustainable way and still make it safe? Mr. President, you did the right thing when you locked down at the right time. We are close to we basically are close to finishing the 1 month. And we're moving to the third reset, which is 2 more weeks. So it's a total of 3 resets or 6 weeks in total that we have been locked down. And I think now is the time that we should really look and plan on how to gradually shift towards reviving the economy, because in the end, social amelioration cannot last forever. We have to bring back the jobs. For confidence to be brought back, I think they have to see that our numbers of the number of people getting infected are starting to taper off and go down. And I believe that with that, and with the assurance that we in government are really on top of the situation and finding all means to really help every Filipino worker out there, I think we will win this war. And I'm sure that with our 3 veteran generals who are now implementing this whole execution, and I believe that in the end, you can have a great plan, but in the end, the key is really execution. So I'm confident that Secretary Galvez is leading this role, and I think he definitely has the full private sector support. The donations from the private support has been quite immense, and we are still there, because in the end, if we don't bring back the economy, then many of our Filipino brothers will suffer. And that's our goal, to really push hard. And I think in the end, Mr. President, with your leadership and your gut feel, I think we will succeed.
Thank you, Joy. I hope I'll have the time to review your suggestions. Then come up with something which we can convey to you maybe in 2 days' time. Now we would like to ask Sunny, Secretary Dominguez. He has a lot for you. You just listen. Itong
Thank you very much, Mr. President. First of all, thank you for, again, being very decisive and protecting the Filipino people against this COVID. I had a meeting with the World Bank a few days ago, and they said that your decisiveness in first reducing the number of people coming into the Philippines in February, and then in March, followed up by the lockdown, probably has saved 100,000 lives in the Philippines. So again, thank you for being so decisive. This is the trade. This is the real trade-off. How many people are going to get sick, and how many people are going to die? So I said this is just the first pass. It took us 2 weeks to get this thing done. I asked the private sector to do it because they have actuaries, they have access to data, but they have not come out with it. So I'm not saying this is the final. I'm just saying this is the beginning of a discussion.
Good evening po, Mr. President, Senator
Yes,
Go, and cabinet members. This will just be very quick. So the proposal is we provide small businesses with a wage subsidy. And I will just discuss quickly the rationale, background, the proposal, key features, and what else we are proposing to help them with. So on the rationale, Mr. President, basically we are going to help the middle class because in one of your speech a few days ago, you wanted to help the middle class. And so we have proposed a program to help the middle class. And the middle class, Mr. President, works in the formal sector. So apart from the 205 billion pesos na binibigay po natin sa mga informal sector or low income, we are proposing to give 51 billion pesos to the employees of small businesses. So that is the first. The second is we will improve upon the social amelioration programs because yung proposal po natin is automated, hindi manual. So mabilis at ipapaliwanag ko po mamaya. Pangatlo po is dadaan po tayo sa data ng SSS and BIR kasi formal sector. Dapat ito po yung gawin natin so that we can target better kasi alam natin kung sino sila at i-incentivize po natin yung better compliance. Kasi yung mga nagko-contribute ng tax at ng SSS, yan po ang unang tutulungan natin. On the background, from March 15 to April 30, we placed Luzon in an enhanced community quarantine. And the rest of Visayas and Mindanao actually followed in various forms. Basically, ang nangyari po is this led to a shutdown of most businesses except yung pinayagan ng interagency task force, yung mga pwede mag-operate on skeletal or yung mga essential para magbenta ng pagkain, logistics, supermarket, drugstore. Ang epekto po nito, there are 1.6 million small businesses in the informal sector. 436,000 po napilitan magsara. Yung 1 million skeletal force, so ibig sabihin 50% or yung iba mas konti. At 117,000 lang yung pinayagan po natin na magbukas para magbenta po ng pagkain, ng mag-tracking or so on.
Now, if there is nothing more to say, that leaves me to two matters actually. One is that I would advise the checkpoints not to be dismantled, especially by the police, but this is my order. Do not stop motor vehicles carrying food and other vegetables from the province. wave them through and do not delay their journey because people are waiting for the supplies. Second is that there is a kind of a raucous now regarding the procurement of the PCR testing kits of 900 people. Censure kits and other kits, inactivation supplies, PRC consumables, 7 PRC machines, 10 automated extracting machine, and 10 biomedical freezer, additional equipment for subnational and regional testing laboratories. Kasi itong ano dito, when you use public funds on anything that's medical or medicine, you want to have the health assessment. I think it comes from the Department of Health. But unfortunately, until now, they're still debating on the efficacy of the rapid test we would like to buy. Alam mo, there is no FDA ruling yet because they cannot act on it without the assessment, health assessment of maybe the entire country before they would act on it, ang FDA, which I can understand. But yung assessment na galing sa DOH or a section of that department handling the assessment of the entire health spectrum, it's been there and nobody seems would like to act on it with in a jiffy. Parang ano pa sila, dalaw-dalawang isip. And there's a rule that we cannot use public funds to buy medical supplies, medicines, without the FDA signal. So, there's a hostage yung mga rapid tests we would like to buy. I will take the risk. I will order the health department and everybody. In the meantime, private sector is doing it. Maybe we can take over someday or do it all together with your help. I am clearing the way by ordering the purchase. Total, walang FDA local. But what we are trying to buy outside is approved by the FDA United States of America. So in a sense that almost all of what we eat by products of all sorts, pagka meron ng FDA approved, there's in the box FDA and galing America, kumpante naman tayo niyan. As a matter of fact, I do not really believe that they would do more testing. Ganoon lang yan. So, pagka walang yung assessment galing doon sa baba sa DOH, hindi natin mabili. I'm clearing the way. I will ask Secretary Duque to talk to the people in charge, si Secretary Galvez. And they can proceed to buy it immediately, as fast as you can really do the procurement at this time. Take note of the fact that we are all in this, the entire world. We might not have the supply. And also my fear that kung nandyan yung antibody, of course the rich nations will get it first before we can. And that I placed a condition there na kung nandyan na yung antibody available na sa market dito, and that's being sold in quantity, in numbers, then I'm inclined to maybe at that time lift the lockdown. Yes, Secretary Nograles.
Mr. President, we might have a solution to the problem. Yung limitation po natin is because of the Universal Health Care Law. And the Universal Health Care Law specifically provides na yung DOH and PhilHealth cannot procure unless may approval ng HTA Council. Ito yung HTAC, yung Health Technology Assessment Council. But nothing will preclude, Mr. President, any other agency from purchasing. So, hindi lang pwede ang DOH at PhilHealth, but because we're in the state of calamity, OCD can purchase. So, tama yung sabi mo, sir, na si Secretary Galvez and OCD can do the purchase. Or PSDBM, sir. Basta wag lang DOH PhilHealth, but PSDBM can do the purchasing or the OCD, sir.
How much?
Sir, we have to tandem the PCR and for safety, sir. So we will if we will buy 900,000 actually sir 40,000 kits of Sansure can already test 900,000. So if we will test 900,000, the rapid test should be more or less twice as the PCR. So the PCR that we will be buying worth 3.3 billion to include all the capacitation of more or less 28 nationwide accredited civilian and private government hospitals, because we believe in your briefing.
2 million.
Uh,
2 million.
Two-
Test 2 million.
Yes, sir, 2 million. Actually, we will test on a rapid test, 2 million, and 900,000 for the PCR, for the confirmatory. So that's the we have to have really to have a safety for the false positive and false negative with the PCR, and also in order for us also to test the efficacy of the rapid test. So that's the point, sir, that we have to really to buy both. The PCR and all the automated retraction and all, including the freezer, it costs us 3.2 billion. I already submitted it to PSDBM for the immediate procurement. The rapid test we have not yet because we have to sir, we have to be careful. There are rapid tests that sometimes it really gave us a false sir. Merong mga rapid test na sir na kailangan natin talaga na FDA approved.
Sec, I can answer that. If you buy in volume the recent purchase of Ayala, you can get it anywhere between $5 to $7. If you buy $1 million worth, it will go down that low. So it is based on volume. You can get it much cheaper if you get it on volume. There's one FDA brand that was purchased recently by Ayala. But you have to buy a bigger quantity. I asked DTI to canvass all the different rapid tests, IgG and IgM. They have a list there, and I can have them send it to you. But the price goes down if it's really in a big volume.
Well, I said you can go ahead and buy it immediately. You have my clearance. Okay. So there you are. Sana na napaintindi ko sa mga kababayan natin kung ano ang ginagawa natin and what are the things that we intend to do in the future. This corona is it's a wild card sa health ng tao. So we do not know how this will end, when, but for lack of a better way of protecting the people, that is except by asking you to go inside your houses, with my assurance that when the antibody that's being, I said, it has passed the medical tests o yung clinical test nila, it's ready to be sold by May. Kung makita ko nandyan at magkaroon tayo ng supply, then I am ready to lift. Kasi wala talagang vaccine. It might come, it might not. But itong antibody, which have been manufactured outside of the human body, parang killer ito na just like the antibiotic. Talagang bibirahin niya yung bacteria. Ito naman yung virus, yung katawan lang natin. But, for whatever it is really worth, we have to thank these guys for coming up, and whether the efficacy is really sort of hangs in the balance. But with the assurance that they have tested it medically, I am sure that we're able to come up with something, buy it, and if I think that it is really there for good and can help people, then I am ready, I said, to lift the lockdown.